Canadian Nuclear Laboratories' proposal for a near-surface disposal facility, or NSDF, is a responsible solution for low-level waste that will be generated from the cleanup mission at Chalk River. Let's move this environmental solution forward. Say yes to NSDF. Visit the Virtual Visitor Centre at engagewithcnl.ca/NSDF to learn more and how you can support this initiative. We encourage you to have your say.
Hello, welcome to the Construction Record Podcast. I'm digital media editor Warren Frey, and with me today I have
Casey Gray from The Conscious Builder.
And that's a very good question. What is The Conscious Builder? Please explain that first, if you could, Casey.
Well, The Conscious Builder, in terms of what we do, our main business is around renovations and custom homes, but high performance homes and a lot of retrofits. So improving the performance, improving the health, improving the comfort, the efficiency of buildings. In terms of what the Conscious Builder means to us, it's being a state of awareness, right? Consciousness means awareness. So we see our role as bringing all the required information that homeowners need so that they can make conscious decisions for what's best in their home.
And I'm assuming that what you're doing is not, well, you are boldly going forward, but you're also addressing a problem that we've had for quite a while of homes not being sustainable. So maybe you could explain sort of the background of that, how homes have not been sustainable in the past.
Yeah, it really depends on where you live in terms of how they're built. But at least where we are here in Ottawa, everything is, for the most part, not everything, majority of buildings are framed with wood, and then you insulate them and you put some sort of veneer on the inside, drywall on the inside. That hasn't changed in years, right? We're renovating 100-year-old homes that were still built with 2x4s, right? So the only difference that's really done is that, okay, well, now we're using 2x6s instead of 2x4s, but they're not even real 2x6s. So you're getting an extra 1.5 inches. And now we understand building science better. So you've added some more insulation. Now we're starting to focus on air barriers, which is good. And we obviously have the weather barrier and the vapor barrier as well. So there hasn't been much change. It hasn't been until recently that they've actually started to focus on the health and the indoor air quality of buildings as well, and that actually looking into how much energy a building uses, right? Which I'm hoping kind of gets pushed a little bit further, because I think that the homes that are more energy efficient should be more valuable.
Mm-hmm. Now, is this a passive house, or is it a passive house and other stuff as well?
It's other stuff as well. So the types of projects that we do will go up to passive house, but there's a lot of projects that we're doing now would be considered what's the new building standard through CHBA over the last few years called net zero energy or net zero energy ready if they don't do the solar panels right away. So a lot of the similar concepts, right? You're still focusing on getting rid of thermal bridges. You're still focusing on making sure that the envelope is done well, and then you can reduce your heating, cooling demand, if you can, orient it properly to take advantage of the sun where possible, definitely for the solar panels. But I'm not necessarily an advocate for using the sun to heat the building, because unless you have things to block the sun when you don't want it on, it makes it more difficult to control. And that is what I've realized, that people want comfort, and comfort means maintaining a certain temperature, not you can't control if the sun's on or off sort of thing.
Now, I'm sure you're a leader in the space, but you can't be alone in this. Have you seen more of sort of a movement towards this as time's gone on?
Oh yeah, there's a lot. It's a pretty small community, especially if you go into the passive house community. It's a lot of same names, so it's still up and coming. Now, obviously, we've kind of carved out a niche for ourselves. So there's a lot of people reaching out to us for the types of projects. We're starting to do a lot of stuff online to help other contractors do the same, grow a successful business, as well as build healthy, comfortable, and efficient homes, because that's where we think we can have the biggest impact, is showing other contractors what's possible so that they can go and do it, because there's only so much we can do here. And as we all know, the industry is driven on small companies. It's not big companies, right? You're not going to get massive companies going and renovating homes. And renovations is really where there's the most need, and there will be the most need in the future, because there's only so much land. There's only so many houses we can build in a year. And the majority of the housing stock that's out there is already built. So we got to work with what we have.
Yeah, you just mentioned the future, maybe and retrofits as well. So maybe go into further detail on that and how we're going to have to go with retrofits above everything else.
Sometimes the most, I guess if we go back to the word you said, sustainable, right? That can be defined in a few different ways. But ultimately, the most sustainable home is often the one that's already built, even though maybe it wasn't built in the most sustainable way or with the most sustainable products. The fact that it's already there, tearing it down doesn't necessarily make sense. So if you can work with what's already there and it makes sense and it's structurally sound, that can be the best bet. And usually those homes that are already built are on the best lots, hence why they have homes on them already.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of work. We've done like a research project with NRCan where we did an exterior retrofit project where we did prefabricated panels and you put it over the existing exterior cladding and wrap the entire building, which is pretty interesting. If you're interested in something like that, they started doing it in I believe it was Holland, and yeah, it was in the Netherlands, and it's called Energy Sprung. Energy, I think, is ENERGI, and Sprung is SPRUNG. But they're doing some really cool stuff where they have a lot of homes that are built the same way. So this is where it makes sense, for example, for like community housing. If you have a bunch of the same models and the city is paying for all the bills for this community housing co-op, it would make sense to make those homes more efficient, right? Because that'll reduce on the long term. You'll actually see savings, and these community housing projects are long-term projects for cities. So if you show up and you can put an exterior retrofit over the entire existing building and make it 50, 60, 70% more efficient and add solar panels to it and offset the bills, then why not? Your payback all of a sudden, even if it takes 20 years, it makes sense.
Now, it's less rare than it used to be, but having a social media presence is kind of rare in the construction industry, and you've kind of gone beyond that. You've got a YouTube channel, you've done a bunch of stuff. So maybe you could sort of elucidate all the social media stuff you've been doing.
Yeah, we kind of dove right into content marketing. So we don't do marketing in the sense that we go out and pay for ads, and it doesn't work like that anymore. So we're putting out informational content that does a couple things. Obviously, it shows that we're out there and knows what we're talking about, so it builds that trust. But it also kind of keeps us on our toes too. It keeps me on my toes by having these conversations, by interviewing other people, by showcasing what we're doing. It keeps us honest too, and what's possible and what works and what doesn't work. So in today's day and age, the less transparent you are, the more it hurts you, I believe, because people want to know. They want to see what's possible. They want to know what's behind the walls. They want to know what's happening ultimately. So we just figured, why not just put it all out there for the way we do it. So we started sharing a lot of different details for things that we do, and the way we operate our projects and do our contracts is transparent and cost plus as well. So people see everything.
And I would imagine, given my own experience with this podcast and others, that a community builds around that as well, where it wouldn't before.
Yeah, it's, you mean like an online community where people are...
Yeah, an online community, people with the same interests and possibly in the same business.
Yeah, absolutely. So we obviously got a lot of people commenting and getting involved in our videos, and we're actually going to be starting a Discord channel as well to continue to build that community, to bring those people into one place where they can communicate, where I can engage with them, but also where they can engage with each other and start asking questions and figuring out how to do things better.
Okay. And obviously you're located in Ottawa, but the social media goes everywhere. If people are in different cities and are interested in your services, how does that work?
Well, from the construction side, we can't really go beyond it. It doesn't make sense for us to go beyond.
No.
We're exploring some options now and maybe looking into something like licensing along those lines, but we have a lot of other things we need to focus on first. The Conscious Builder Academy side, though, that we can help any contractor anywhere, right? That you can just go to consciousbuilderacademy.com and see what we're doing there. If anybody wants to work with me directly, we can explore options there as well. For the most part, we're building the community. We're doing the online resources. We're doing the online courses, and that's going to grow. We just launched that last year, so we have big plans for where that's going. And that's why we're also launching the Discord channel, because that's where we're going to be doing a lot of our announcements for the upcoming stuff that we have.
What, maybe elaborate a little bit on the Conscious Builder Academy. What's that all about?
So it's designed to help contractors become ultimately better contractors, but stay in business. Because what I realized is in my almost 20 years in the trade and in 12 years in business, is that sure, you can be a good carpenter, you can be a good electrician, plumber, whatever your trade is, but that doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to be a great business owner, because business is not easy. There is a lot of things to consider, especially when you're a small company. You got to do all of it. Most people don't have a good website or don't do videos or any of that stuff because it takes a lot of work and a lot of time and dedication and ultimately money. So the academy is to help people with ultimately not make the mistakes that I made as I've been growing this business at the end of the day, right? So we're designing it for the companies who are doing well and want to do better and know that they need something else. They need some support. There's something that's not clicking, and that's what we're designing it for, so that we can help each other. Because I don't see that when you have a good contractor, there's no real competition, so to speak. When I sit around a table, or now it's been video calls with other contractors who are part of our local builders association, I don't see them as our competitors, because there's more than enough work for everybody that's around the table. The competitors are the ones that are doing it for cash or not doing proper jobs. Kind of the horror stories that you hear often come from those guys who are just working out of the back of their truck and don't really do things legitimately. That to me is the competition. The guys who want to grow a business and who want to be in this for the long haul and want to service their clients, that's what this is designed for.
Okay, and if people are interested in what you're doing, where is the aforementioned social media they can check out?
Best place if you want to go to what we're doing on the construction side is you can go to theconsciousbuilder.com. You can also just go to YouTube, just search Conscious Builder, we'll pop up. We got tons of videos out there, all sorts of different content.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, Warren. Appreciate it.